Good evening, everybody. How is everybody doing this evening? Hello. 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 Probably the only people seeing this part. Oh, no, there's people here already. I was going to say probably the only people seeing this part are the people who tune in later who get to watch it from the very beginning. Let's start at the very beginning. That's a very good place to start. Instead of running around trying to get everything perfect this time, I decided to just go on. So you will notice a lot of imperfections, I am sure, which are probably all in my head because that's how life is. We notice, ooh, I didn't even plug in this thing. Hold on, let me plug in this thing because that will keep the camera from dying. So, plug in you. I'm trying to plug it in without moving it too much. There we go. Okay. Yes. So, good. I'm trying not to get that light too much in the background so it doesn't look like I'm trying to appear too heavenly. We've got flowers. The flowers are nice. Okay. Yes, this is so fun. It's so fun. Are people talking yet? Are they saying anything? Why can't I see any? Oh, there we go. Hello. Hello. Everybody state where you're from if you feel like it. Tell me the state, tell me the country, tell everybody where you're watching from. Anyone who's watching at a weird hour of the night, you're very brave. And we are super grateful that you are tuning in. Tennessee mountains. Brr, 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 Tennessee mountains. Boo, doo, 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 doo. Oh, good. I get to be shared with Dolly Parton. I feel so important. Guadalupe. Guadalupe. Boo, boo, boo. Georgia. Georgia. Missouri. Indiana. Ooh, questions already. Cleaning fish tanks. I love it. Cleaning fish tanks. Do they look like this? This must be good lighting, or maybe it's the flowers. They're just bringing out all of the wonderful questions. Crocheting. Guadalupe. Whiskey, that's a great name for a cat. I spend my days with my cat named Whiskey. Okay, tonight, the theme a lot of people asked, and a lot of people affirmed. Those people who asked people want to know about selling and how do you sell? How do you make selling successful? And I am in Pennsylvania. That's all anybody knows. but you can search the state and see if you can find me before this broadcast ends. You have 1 hour because I'm trying not to go too long this time. I figure if I keep it to 1 hour, I might ramble less and just focus. So I'm going to let you guys throw out any questions you want about anything, anytime. It's free for all. It's open. It's not rigid. However, I am going to go with the theme of selling tonight because a lot of people are asking. There are 2 videos I have on selling. One is called How to Sell Art. But you have to put in my channel name first if you're not, like, otherwise you'll get 50,000 other people's videos on how to sell art and they will be inferior, guaranteed. So you have to write this in the search bar of YouTube and you'll find my video that says exactly that, even in the thumbnail. Also, you will find the lesser known but also good how to price your art. So you can type in Matt's Crazy Art and then this or this, and watch them. I go into detail. I put notes down. They're great. But I'm gonna do. I'm gonna field some questions as they come out, like the one that just popped up. How do you sell if you're an introvert? And I'm going to take you through. I decided what would the best would be for me, because I'm not the ultimate authority and I don't know all there is to know out there. I don't know a 1% of what there is, but the little I do know apparently makes people think that I'll be able to give them answers on something. So what would be the best way I could help somebody to be a better seller? And I would say the best thing I could do is go visit you in your state, live where you live, climb inside your world, sleep on your couch, have a little room set up in the attic, learn everything there is to know about your product and how you conduct yourself, and then take your framework and take you through all the steps you would need to become an awesome seller. And that's not awesome seller like basement seller, but like SELLER. Because I can't do that for anybody probably watching, because I have to make a living and pay bills and stuff, and I doubt anybody who is in the need to sell art is also in a position to fly me down and feed me for weeks so I can teach them how to sell art. Next best thing is we'll do this remotely, hypothetically, but we'll make it a little more personal because you can throw out questions anytime you want. So without further ado, let me see if anybody's asked anything since then. Business license. No, that's not difficult at all. In most states, you just need, all you need to do is make sure your taxes are in order and just check. You can usually use your social security number as a business license number, but talk to, if you have anybody who handles your taxes or anybody who knows anything about taxes, talk to them about that, because that is how you handle that. That has nothing to do with anything I can offer you. I don't get that information from myself. I ask people who know better. I hate taxes. Absolutely. I hate paperwork. Whatever you think I might be good at, I am 10 times worse at other things. And one of them is paperwork, dotting I's, crossing T's. It's like reading ancient hieroglyphics to me. And it's not fun, hieroglyphics either. So you guys can throw out answers to each other. It might differ per state, but if you've gotten to this stage of adulthood, you probably have someone helping you with taxes, or you know how to do your own taxes. So that's all you need to know. That's not the hard part. The hard part is getting people to give you money. You can start by stopping people on the street and saying, would you like to give me some money? And then they will look you up and down to see if you have a weapon, because if you're scaring them that bad, that's probably the next thought that's going to pop into their head. But don't do that. Let's say, and this is going to follow the video how to sell art. I love couches. I sleep better on couches than beds. I had my own apartment with a bed in this one place, and I filled up my bedroom with art stuff, and I slept on the couch in my little living room every single night for a year and a half, because I sleep better on couches, and it's terrible. You shouldn't do this, but I fall asleep with a TV much better than a lot of other things. But in any case, this is what I would say. You are new, you want to start out, you want to sell art, you want to sell your jewelry. How do you do it? How do you avoid the pitfalls? How do you avoid wasting weeks, months, years going to bad shows, sitting there, people not buying your stuff, or spending money to be at shows and not even making enough money back to cover the cost of being there? These are all real things that most people do. Let me emphasize that again. Most people who go to sell anything, who go to vend at an event, fail. And like I said, failure is not a bad thing. Trying is much better than not trying. But most people try once, twice, 3 times, give up, don't do it again. Because selling it's a tricky skill. And most people that try, they don't really throw everything into it. They don't take it seriously. They think if they set up all the things just right, that the money will come. Like if I have my product good, if I set up my booth just right, if I follow the steps. And a lot of people are asking me, Matt, tell us these steps. If I set up this, if I set up this, if I set up this, and boom, the algorithm is correct, the correct setup is unlocked, and money will start flowing. Cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching. And that's not how anything in life works. Except maybe if you're doing a combination lock, you set all the numbers right and the lock opens. But selling is more like playing basketball. Like it takes a lot of discipline and training, and most of all, you have to find the right people to help you, and you have to be super dedicated, and you need a little bit of natural talent, but whatever natural talent you have or don't have, you have to be honest about it and take that and stretch it and push it and see how far you can go with it. And but that doesn't mean there aren't things I can tell you that are going to help a ton. And so here's the things that will help you. And it's right from the video. It goes like this. When you sell, basically, here are all the possible places to sell. And I'm talking in person. I'm not talking online. I will not teach you how to sell online because I am not good at it. When I become good at it, I will teach you. And I intend to become good at it. I've been working on that this whole year, slowly, in my own way, because it's online is a totally different animal. But I can sell in person. I've been doing it for 10 years. So I'll teach you what I know about that, the little I know. So here's your places to possibly sell. Let's back up even further. Let's say I come to your house. Okay, show me your product. All right, first thing I'm going to do is say, you need to fix that product. You need more of this and less of that. These are good. You're doing these well. These are not that good. These are not going to sell. Brutal honesty. Like, you're not good at that. You could be good, but you gotta be better at doing this part of it. You are good at that. Hopefully there's something in your product that's already good. Otherwise, you're just going to have to work on making yourself better at whatever. So let's first of all, you need to make 100 of those and no more of those. That's the first thing. Secondly, and this is the biggest thing, I'm going to arrive in your town and I'm going to say, how far do you want to go? How far are you willing to travel? How much do you want to put into this? Is this just a side thing? Do you love your day job? Do you want to stay with your day job, just do this on the weekends, a couple weekends a year? How far do you want to travel? How long do you want to take off work? Is it worth it to you to go across the country and spend a few $1,000s in investment if there's a good chance, let's say you spent $3,000 and you took 2 weeks off of your regular job, you took your whole vacation and you spent $3,000, but while you're at this show, you could make $1,000 every day for 10 days straight. So you're spending $3,000 and you're getting 10. So you get 7,000 net profit. Not really, because let's say you're also paying for the supplies, the stuff, and a bunch of other stuff. So let's say after everything, you get 6,000 net profit. Is that worth it for you for the adventure? Basically, you're netting 600 a day for a ton of incredibly hard work on what would have been your vacation. Or is that too much? Do you want to just go to a one-day event and just sit there for 8 hours on a Saturday and spend $40 and potentially make 250? Is that more in your range of how comfortable you are? So you have to tell me what you want to do. But once I find all that out, here's the biggest thing is this again. I keep coming back. Why do I keep coming back to this? Here's all the possible places you could sell. And this gets much bigger if you're willing to travel. So let's say these are all the ones within a 10-mile radius of where you live. It gets bigger and bigger if you want to travel further. But of all of these, there are three awesome shows. See that? 1, 2, 3 awesome shows. These shows you go to, you spend $50, you'll make $1,000 if your product is right. Then there's 4 good shows. 1, 2, 3, 4. Those you spend $50, you'll make $500. Okay, still good. The rest of these shows, I can't tell you how horrible they are. You'll spend $50 for one day and you'll make $25 back. And you'll get a sunburn, or you'll be bored out of your mind, or you'll be miserable and you'll come home and cry and not want to make art anymore. Maybe not that dramatic, depending on your personality. But how do you find which is which? Do you just sign up for every single one and spend 3 years like navigating it and having a lot of wasted days? No, you do what I said in the video, which is drum roll. Find the people in your area, in your city, in your town who are already doing this full time and making money doing it, serious money. If it's not their full-time job, they're at least making enough money that they could make it their full-time job if they wanted. Find those people, friend them, cling to them, wash their car, babysit their kitten, do anything to get in their good graces and beg them to teach you everything they know. Because first of all, the first thing they're going to teach you, if you're not a competitor, if you have the exact same product as them, they might still help you because they like friends, and vendors can be very lonely, and having friends is like, makes it an adventure instead of like a horror show sometimes. But they might be a little bit scared of competition. So if you have the exact same product, they might not want to tell you, but chances are they'll probably tell you where the good shows are. So you cannot waste your time and money at all these places and then supplement with the mediocre shows. So this is what you need to do. You need to find people. That's what I would do. I've been doing this for 10 years. If I came to your town and I had to help you start out to make some serious money selling your art, the first thing I would do is find people in your town. I wouldn't even do anything from my own brain. I would immediately go on Craigslist, Craigslist used to be the way to find other artists. I don't know what the best way is today. Talk to friends who know friends who know friends until you find some people who vend full time. It does not, this is crucial, and I didn't say this in the video, so here's a new thing. It definitely does not have to be other artists. It can be anybody selling anything. Most people who vend don't sell art. They sell gimmicks, trinkets, food, whatever it might be. But if they do it full time and they've been doing it for years, they know they will navigate you years past all their own mistakes and get you up to a point where you're making real money like the first couple months. So find those people and become best friends with them. They will be your best friends. They will be the people you cling to when you're having a bad show. They will be the people you vent to when you're having difficulties. They'll be the people you laugh with when you have to compare notes. They are your colleagues. They will seriously become your lifeline. Become their best friends. Like, that's it. That's what I would do. I'd come to your city and I'd find those people and I would friend them and I would introduce you and be their best friend. And I'm serious, like, do anything you can to get in their good graces. And then after that, I would take you through your setup. How does your booth look? Let's make it look prettier and take away this dumb stuff and take away this busy stuff and make it look clean and neat and make sure the colors emphasize the colors of your product. That, you don't want to put, I love crazy fancy paintings. I would never put my jewelry on top of one of my crazy fancy paintings because everything would just confuse you and you wouldn't know what you were looking at. So you need clean, nice colors, solid colors. The less patterns, the better, although textures can be really nice. How is your booth set up? Is it set up to attract people? Can people see what you're selling from really far away? Is it lit well? Like, all these things. And then we'd sign you up for some shows, which we would only pick the shows that were recommended to by those other vendors. And we would also pick their brains about what is the best part about this show. What part of the show do you want to get in? It's very important where you get your booth in the show. And that depends on signing up early, calling the event manager and talking to them on the phone and saying, please, I know you can't necessarily put me exactly where I want, but can you please put me in this section? Or can you please not put me in this section? Huge. At this point, we're at, step one is finding the vendors. Step two is location, location, location. Like any business, location, location, location. If you're there where the people have come with a lot of money that they want to spend, you could almost sell jelly to the jellyfish. But if you have the most beautiful, intricate product on earth and you go out to some park where there's a bunch of hippies practicing hula hoops who don't have money, they will give you all the compliments in the world and be your best friend and maybe want to share some illicit substances with you, but you will walk away with no money and probably a sunburn. So location, location, location. That's number two. First is vendors. Find vendor friends. Two, map out your best shows for a whole year and the best locations at those shows. Find out everything you can find out about those shows. Be over prepared. I'll tell you a terrible story. One of my mentors was, one of my mentors is very cutthroat, and it's the same person I talked about last time that she got mad at me for having the same charm as her. So I got back at her by pretending I was copying her entire style. And I found photos online of other people doing her style and copied those photos and sent them to her, pretended they were mine, just to freak her out, telling her I'm copying everything you do and I'm going to be right next to you at every show selling the exact same stuff you do. And I played dumb, like, isn't this awesome? And she totally freaked out, and it was hilarious. But this same person taught me to be very cutthroat. She would she would call ahead and talk to the person running the show. She would find out the best spot. She always had to have a corner. When you have a corner, you have people can see you from 2 points of view, not just one. And usually when you have a corner, it means you're in an intersection. So, you get flow of traffic this way and this way. There's different kinds of an outdoor corner is like this. An indoor corner of a room means you're like this, and that can be good too, or it can be bad because you can get squished in the corner, and depending on how they set up the show. Sometimes if the tables are cheap enough or the spots are cheap enough, you buy 2 spots next to each other. Now you're taking up much more visual area. And even if you can't fill up those whole 2 spots with product, people see you more. You have an advantage in so many ways, but that's cost effective. That means if the price per spot is worth it, if you're going to make enough back for it to really be worth it. These are all things you learn by talking to your vendor friends. But anyway, she taught me to be very cutthroat, and I got really good at it. And here's one little example. I was in this show. By this time, I built a lot of displays, really high displays, and set up all different ways. I had my setup for a 10-foot table, like 6 foot and a 4 foot. I had a 10-foot because a lot of shows are 10 by 10. So 10 by 10 tent, and then you put your tables inside. Me and this other vendor, we decided we're never putting our tables inside. Usually people put their tables like a C inside their tent. So people come in and then you have 3 tables to look at, and it feels like a comfy little home. I'll draw it for you. So here's your tent, and then here's the front of the tent. Here's where people come in, and then here's your 3 tables, and you're behind this table. Welcome to my booth. They come inside. They can look around. What's the problem with this? Everyone walking by the festival, they can't see in. This is a big dark cave. Unless you have fluorescent lighting, which you probably won't. They're walking by and they're looking at a million things all over the place, and they just don't notice you. So we would scratch that, and we would put all of our tables in the front like this. Now that means you have less space to show yourself, there's less space for all your stuff. You have to cram it all together. But everyone walking by, you're right up in their face, and you can say, hey, and quadruples your sales right there, guaranteed. Okay, so anyway, so that's not even what the story is about. I had my setup for 10 feet of space, and I was doing all these shows 10 feet, 10 feet. Well, I got in this one show. It was a great show, but I only had 6 feet. They only gave you 6-foot tables, and I was freaked out. How can I fit all my stuff in a 6-foot table? Because this particular one, they butted people right up next to each other. You didn't have a tent. There's one big giant tent. So they already gave you your tables. There's no space in between each table. It was all set up. They gave you your chairs. It was like this. There's your chair. There's your table. Here's the walkway for everybody to come through. And that was it. No wiggle room. How am I going to fit my 10 feet worth of displays that are already squished up against each other into 6 feet? Well, I got there early, super early. I got there 2 hours before anybody else started setting up. Now, you should get there 2 hours early. Everybody gets there 2 hours early. So technically, I got there 4 hours early, right? And I went down this whole row of 18 tables in this giant tent, like this giant circus tent. And I pushed every table over about 3 inches, all the way down. Push, 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 until my designated spot looked like this. Had a big section right there. And I squeezed in another 3-foot table, little card table. And then now luckily they all had tablecloths. So I took my tablecloth and stretched it across both tables. And then I set up all my displays. So by the time everyone else was arriving, I was already set up, tablecloth in place. If you looked real carefully, you'd say, wait a minute, he looks like he has a little more room than everyone else. But people don't look carefully. When they get there, they're stressed. They want to set up as fast as possible. They're worried about parking. So that's another thing about a show. Always get there earlier. Always find out the parking situation. Oh my gosh, save yourself so much stress. But So I had 9.5 feet roughly, which is pretty much good enough to get to my 10 feet, whereas everybody else had 6 feet. Is that horrible? Is that absolutely horrible? Technically, nobody lost any space. You know, I didn't butt anybody out all the way into the parking lot or anything. Like everybody was nobody knew. Everybody had moved over 3 inches. So it was nobody, you know. So that's just how incredibly crazy. Okay, now that I shared that embarrassing story, let me see what people are talking about. I don't know. You guys are having a whole conversation without me. You're just talking, talking, talking. I love it. I love it. You guys are so cute. Well, good. Continue having your awesome conversation. I can't even get to the start of it. I don't even know what you're talking about. So throw out more comments. I'm going to break it down again. Here it goes. You want to be an awesome seller. Here's your steps. Also determine, as you meet more vendors, find out who are the really successful ones. The really successful ones are confident and they're always talking positive. The unsuccessful ones are always like, eh. They're kind of like, that was a good show. That wasn't, eh. So first, number one, find vendors where you live. Number two, I'm trying to draw little shiny lines around this. Number two, find the location of only the good shows. Research you put 3 hours into researching the best shows, that will save you 3 years of wasted time. That's how much the payoff is. And maybe I'm exaggerating, but even if it saves you 3 weeks, like 3 hours worth of painstaking research to save you 3 weeks of having bad shows, like totally worth it. But you can research all you want. You can go online to what are the best shows at blah, blah, blah. You can do that, but you really don't know until you talk to the people who've done those shows and you talk to the people in your area and you find the best of the best. And I don't mean find any vendors. Start with any vendors, but slowly start to disassociate yourself with those vendors who are not doing as well and kind of talking more negative. You want to get with the hardcore winners. And that's why I'm going to have Dante on here next week. I think he's going to do the show with me because he is an incredible hardcore winner, and he's the third person. I wouldn't call him a mentor. The first two were mentors because they were way ahead of me and they brought me up to their level almost. Dante and I were kind of at the same level, but he knew a lot of stuff I didn't know, and I knew a lot of stuff he didn't know, and we just kind of helped each other from that point on. And we both were making so much more because of what we taught the other person. So he is really one of the most positive human beings ever. And so you want to get with those people who are positive, who have a lot of money coming in. And yeah, so find vendors, location. Number 3 is adapt. Ooh, I'm using a skinnier Sharpie now. It looks different. Let me get that other Sharpie. Get nice fat lines. I love brand new Sharpies. You ever notice brand new Sharpies, the line is so thin, you can like draw really precise stuff, but then as the Sharpie gets older, it gets fatter and fatter. But the fat ones are better if you want your letters to look nice and thick, like right now. So number 3, adapt. You cannot make it selling the thing you started selling before you were selling. You are going to have to change your product. Sorry. If you want to be successful, probably the art you're doing now You're going to have to modify it, change it. And does that mean you have to give up your artistic vision and sell out? Not at all. It means if you're a painter, maybe until you learn to get into those shows where people are dropping $3,000 for a painting, until you build up to that, you might have to make prints of your paintings and sell them for 10, 15 bucks a pop, or even stickers of your paintings and sell them for $3 or $4 or whatever, like mouse pads back before everybody had optical mice, whatever it is. Adapt. Maybe you need to grow as an artist. You always need to grow as an artist. Every artist should be growing, or you're not going to go anywhere. Maybe you love painting flowers all the time, flowers, but you're actually really good at painting people, and there are people who want to be painted. And suddenly you find out that you can have someone sit down and you can paint their image in 10 minutes, close enough that they're willing to drop 25 bucks on you. 25 bucks for every 10 minutes. If you can knock out 6 in an hour, that's 150 bucks an hour. Not every hour is going to be back to back, and you'll get exhausted if you just kept going like that. But even if you're averaging 50 bucks an hour, that's a good day for someone starting out, especially. So adapt. And part of adapting might mean you have to find different locations. You might have to learn how to talk to people. But that's, I'm going to say, number 4 is how to talk. And that's where Dante is a master. I thought I was the best before I met him. He blows me away. Like he's twice as good as me. And I thought I was the best. That's how good he is. Now, when I say I thought I was the best, I don't mean like of all the people who are salespeople for 40 years who write books about being salespeople. I just mean in my little corner of vending, I can talk people into buying something that had told me 10 times I am not buying anything today. And then 2 minutes later, they're taking out their purse or their wallet and handing me cash or a credit card. I've had that happen so many times. I'm just looking, I'm not buying. Totally fine. That's totally fine. But let's have a little conversation. And then literally 2 minutes later, could be 5. It's usually 2. 2 minutes later, you got me. And they love it. You got me. Here you go. I don't know why they love it. I wouldn't love it if somebody tricked me into handing my money over. But I connect with them in a way that the interaction and the product they're getting for the price I offer makes them so happy that when they say you got me, what they're really saying is, I found an awesome deal right now that I didn't expect to find, and I think I'm winning. The customer is literally like, I think I won this, so I'm going to say you got me because I know you had a part in convincing me with your sales tactic, but at the end of the day, I came out a winner. Like, I got an awesome deal on this thing and I feel awesome. You know how good you feel when you get an awesome deal on something you really like? If you can make every customer feel that way, like, you're just going to kill it. I dropped something. I dropped one of my Sharpies. Just make it come back up to me. There it is. Okay. Yeah, I have specific phrases that you can use that will win every single time. And Aaron mentioned a few of them. But yeah, first one is, what's your favorite piece in the whole booth? This is not a trick. This is, let me put it this way. Here's how I see selling. Here's you with your products. Here's the person with their desires for life and their money, okay? Somewhere in this fist, somewhere in all these products is something that this person will like. Hopefully, if they wouldn't have stopped at your booth otherwise, or they wouldn't be giving you the time of day. So somewhere in here, they have a favorite piece. And somewhere there's a certain amount of money that they're okay letting go with for that piece, and you are okay taking. It's not so low that you feel like they stole it from you, but it's low enough that they feel like they're getting a deal. So your job is to cross this bridge in between these two, you and them, these two entities, is this huge expanse of you're terrified and they don't want to give up their money because they think they need their money for other stuff that might be more exciting. Now, this is expendable income. This is not that they need their money to eat. This is they need their money because they think they want to buy other things more. So all you do is you narrow it down. You help them break it down. Can I help you? And whether they say yes or no, just help them anyway. What is your favorite piece in this booth? And make it non-threatening. I'm not trying to pressure you to sell anything. Just tell me, help me out. What's your opinion? I'm starting out. What do you think is the best piece I made here? If you could own something, and then really get down to them owning not just your favorite piece, because they might pick a piece that's going for $100, and even if they love it, they would never spend $100. They don't have $30 in their pocket. So say if you could own something today, if I gave you a coupon and you could pick something, like what do you really see yourself wearing of all these pieces? Like try to get them focused on the real world. And I mean, you can start saying, what's your favorite piece? But then from there, if they pick something that's $100 and then they say, I don't have $100, say, okay, what, if you had to pick something that you could afford, like keep narrowing it down. If you had to pick something you could afford, what would it be? If you had to pick something you would wear tomorrow with your outfit, wherever you're going, what would it be? Once you narrow it down to their favorite piece, make them feel like they're giving their opinion. People love giving their opinions. I like giving my opinion right now on video. So say, I need your opinion. I need your help. You're helping me. People love feeling valuable. You're helping me. And they are helping you because every customer you meet will help you figure out what your best selling pieces are. And that will make you a better artist and a better seller. So help me out. What's your favorite piece? Just give me some ideas. And they'll say this one. Immediately, I have built into every piece a sales spectrum, a sales, it's not the right word, but I have a range, that's the word. This is the most I think I could ever get for the piece. This is the lowest I can let it go for and still feel really good about the sale. So usually I'll price it way up here. And if I don't want to talk to anybody that day, I'll price it down here because then people might just buy it. But if I'm really ready to talk to everyone, I'll price it way up here. And then, okay, that's your favorite piece. This is the price. I'm going to let it go for this much. Sometimes I don't come all the way down the bottom. I'm come halfway. I'm going to let it go for this much today. Say the piece was going for 35. I'm going to let it go and pause, make it very emphasis. Like, don't be like, well, I'll give it to you for 28 instead of 35. Be like, and look around. Act like it's you're including them in the secret. Be like, sometimes I'll even say my boss would kill me if he knew I was doing this, but this $35 piece, I'm going to give it to you for 28. And then see how their face changes. If their face lights up, you're probably done. If they start to go, give them a little time, wait. They might say, okay. So just wait, be patient. This is where you gotta like hold your breath. It's like hold, like don't let the armies attack yet, hold. And then they go, I really can't today. And be like, and then just be like, all right, you know what? You gotta give them an excuse. I think this would look so good on you. It matches your eyes. It goes with your shirt. I normally don't do this, but it's 35. I was going to give it to you for 28. All right. Can you do 20? Can you do 25? And no tax. I'll cut the tax off 25. And then they're like, they feel like they're winning. They feel like they bargained you down. They don't realize what's happening here. They honestly think like, oh crap. I'm awesome. I won this person. And they're like, okay, 25. Now, in my mind, I could go down to 20. So if they're totally walking away, I have to come up with another excuse. Be like, wait, come back. And and be like, okay, I'm never going to do this for anyone else. So please don't tell anyone else I did this. And they'll laugh like as if they're going to meet another customer and talk about their sale, like the chances of that happening. But still, don't tell anybody else. I'm going to give it to you for 20. I'm not going to hardly make any money off of this, but I'm going to give it to you for 20. Meanwhile, you know that the cost of materials to make that piece was $3 and it took you about half an hour. So to you, getting 20 bucks for it, that's good. That's awesome. Or maybe you spent $2 on the materials and it took you 10 minutes because you've gotten really good at this. But still, you're not taking advantage of them, because this is what every retail store on earth does. Customers like this game. As I said in another video, like there have been studies that show when stores don't play this game with raising their prices and then offering coupons and doing all these sales, when they don't play that game with customers don't enjoy shopping. Customers like the game of feeling like they got a good deal. They would much rather you raise the price and then give them a discount than you just say the price is this for everybody, period, because that's boring. It's a game. It's like, people pay a lot of money to just play games that do nothing. Video games, board games. People like to play, and this is a game. So that's how to talk to people. That's number 4. Anyone just tuning in, this is how you become a good seller. Number 1, find vendors in your area. Number 2, find the best locations of shows and the best places in the shows. Number 3, adapt. Always be changing. Always be modifying your product, your booth, the way you set up, the way you talk to people, the way you dress, the way you prepare. Number 4, how to talk. How do you talk to people? And if you think talking is hard and you can't do it, I used to not say a word. I used to sell pottery. I'd put all my pieces on a table. I'd sit back and I'd say, when I buy stuff, I know what I want ahead of time. I go in the store, I get it, I walk out. I don't need a salesperson to talk to me. If I need a salesperson, it's only to tell me where the thing is I'm looking for. Once they've helped me, that's it. I don't need them to convince me. I don't need to play games. So I'm not going to do that to anyone else. I'm not going to convince them. I'm not going to play games. I'm going to sit behind the table. And if they want something, they'll say, how much is this? And I'll sell it to them. I used to do that, and I made sales. I made $200 a day, once a week, not enough to live on, but I felt like I was getting somewhere. And I was selling vases that took me 6 hours to make for $20 or 30. Not a good price point, but I was making sales. It wasn't until people started telling me, you need to talk to people more. You need to say, hello, how you doing? Interact. I'm like, that's kind of manipulative. I'll say hi if I feel naturally to say hi. I won't be rude, but I'm not going to go out of my way. People kept telling me, no, you need to talk to people more. You need to talk to them. And slowly I did. And as I even just said, hello, how you doing today? My sales went up. And then as I talked more, my sales went up. And then slowly I learned to become this person. And then I got to the point where I was desperate. Bills come in. I wasn't making enough money. I was stuck somewhere with no gas to get home. And that's when I got brutal. And that's where I got to the point where I would be at some club, a nightclub where people are sitting with little bistro tables, eating their nice gourmet food, listening to live music. Last thing they want is some handmade jewelry hippie guy to bother them. Doesn't matter. I had my booth. I talked to the owner. I got them let me set up a table in the corner. Some people came over, bought some stuff. Okay, yeah. But nobody's paying attention to me because now the entertainment has started and the lights went down and there's little tiny spotlights. There's little tiny candles or something on each table, or there's a little bit of lighting, but not much. What did I do? I didn't make enough money. I made $100. I need to make 200. What am I going to do? I picked up my 3 best pairs of earrings. I literally walked over, tapped people on the shoulder. Excuse me. And okay, let's set the mood a little bit. This wasn't like a high-end event with business people with their wives that I'm doing this. This was like college kids, having a nice night out. It was a club atmosphere. There was some fun. There was some open mic stuff, some silly comedy. So it was a little more laid back than I'm describing. But I walked up to people on bistro tables, tapped them on the shoulder and said, "Hey, I'm an aspiring artist. I'm just starting out. Can I show you something I made real quick?" And I would tap the women because I'm pretty sure the men were not interested in jewelry at this point. And they'd be like, "Sure." I would literally put the earrings on the table next to their food and say, "What's your favorite pair?" And they'd say, "That one." Because now they feel like they're not just observing the show, they're not just passive entertainers, they get to be have their own little thing going on. So they'd be like, "Yeah, that pair." I was shocked. I was totally expecting, "Excuse me, I'm watching a show, can you go away?" Most people are not rude, most people are friendly, and even if they are rude, they'll hide it because they want to appear friendly. So I never had anybody tell me to go away. They'd literally be like, "That's my favorite pair," and I'd be like, "Awesome." And then their next question came right out of their mouth, "How much are they going for?" And I'd be like, "Well, these three pair are each going for 25, but I'm doing really slow tonight. I didn't get the word out good. So pick any pair you want. I'll do 20. Walked away from that table with a $20 bill in my pocket. Went to the next table. Went back to my booth, grabbed a few more, went to the next table. Over the course of that half hour, I had 80 to $100 more in my pocket. That was scary. And that took a lot of guts. But after I did that, I could talk to anyone, anywhere, anytime. And if I feel any fear, like, "Oh, I'm not feeling right. I'm going to come off weird. I don't feel like talking to these people. They're going to think I'm weird." I just take a deep breath and be like, "Oh, let's try anyway." And if I freak them out and they act totally weird, then I'll just say something wrong with them. And you just forget about it. But so now, like, anytime I see someone walking by, hey, you. And then you got to say something so you don't appear weird. "That's an awesome shirt. That's an awesome jacket," or whatever. So now I wake up, I decide if I want to totally stop random people like Dante does, just stop anybody who doesn't want to even look at your booth and draw them into your booth, or if I only want to stop the people who are already looking at my stuff and convince them to buy. If I'm in a high energy mood and I need money, I'll just totally stop random strangers. If I'm totally focused on making videos for you guys and I really need my mental energy to really focus on that, and my financials are good, I'll wait for people to come to my booth and I'll close those sales. But I'm not going to like do the crazy thing of just reaching out to strangers. But it's awesome to know that if I'm ever financially stuck, if I ever have a hard time going on and I need cash quickly, I have a wide range of things that I can just jump out there and be crazy, and the world will reward me for being that brave. So, unlike other nights, I'm totally not looking at your comments. I'm watching you guys talk to each other, which is super awesome. I love it. I love that you guys are on the Facebook page. I love that you guys are super helpful to each other. And if I've given you a thumbs up on your post, it means I saw your post and I appreciate you being there and I probably like your product. If I didn't give you a thumbs up, it means the Facebook algorithm didn't show it to me, because there's just so many posts now and Facebook just rearranges them randomly however they feel like it. So if I didn't give you a thumbs up, it does not mean I didn't like your post. I like everybody's post. And if I loved your post, I'm probably still going to give you a thumbs up, because I just don't want to get into the favoritism. This person gets a heart and this person gets just a thumbs up and this person gets a comment. If I commented on your post, it doesn't mean I love your post more than everybody else's. Doesn't mean, if I don't comment, it doesn't mean I don't like your post as much. Sometimes I just have time to comment and sometimes I don't. It's just, there's a lot of crazy factors with time. Okay, so now I'm opening up the floor to questions. If you've already asked a question and I haven't answered you, I apologize. Ask it again. Don't feel like you're being annoying. Please type it again, type your question. Everything I just said, if I left something out, if I sparked a question, ask it. And if not, you guys just keep talking and I'll just keep rambling. This is awesome. We're almost to 1 hour and I don't feel like I've spent any time just kind of staring at the screen, trying to think of where to go next. Well, looks like everybody's talking to everybody. Misu Wido. I said earlier, I'm not good. I don't know a lot about online selling, so I'm not the person to ask. When I get good at online selling, I will tell you everything I know. Hopefully that will be this year. Hopefully I'll start to get good at it this year, but I anticipate it will probably still take me a few more years to get as good at online selling as I currently am at in-person selling, but who knows? What's made the most money? Location. The most money I ever made was on Black Friday. It's coming up. Black Friday in the best mall I was ever at, with the best preparation, with the most products, in the best location of that mall, on the best day. That's it. Like, the quality of my products helps me make money, but it has nothing like the quality of the location. One time I was at a casino. Do you know how much money people throw around at a casino? Do you know how much money people bring, how much money people have that they don't even think about? I was at a casino, not even in the casino, I was outside the casino, in the parking lot, in this little side area under a tent with a bunch of other vendors. That's where somebody decided to have a show. I tried it out. It started raining before the show opened. Raining, not like drizzling. Like, it wasn't thunderstorm and it wasn't pouring, but it was coming down. It was cold and uncomfortable. It was supposed to be like a late spring, early summer day, and it was icky. All the vendors started packing up and leaving. I started packing up. The vendor next to me, she said, "I'm sticking it out. Why don't you stick it out?" I said, I've done this before. I'd rather go home and have a good day. I don't need the money. I mean, I'd like the money, but she's like, "Come on, don't be a baby, stick it out." I'm like, it's not about being a baby. I just don't, I'd rather pack up while it's still dry than have all my stuff get wet, have to pack up in the rain and go home miserable, still having made no money, but having wasted another 6 hours. She's like, "I think it's going to be good. I think you should stay." And I was like, this is the stupidest decision ever, but what the heck? We'll see what happens. So I stayed, and these people with tons of money to blow on the casino, they said, "Oh, look, there's a cute little crafts thing going on inside the parking lot. Let's go over there." And they popped their umbrellas, and they walked over, and they looked at all our stuff, and they said, "Oh, that's cute. I'll take that for 20 bucks. That's cute. I'll take that for 30 bucks. Because that money was nothing compared to the money they were about to drop on the blackjack tables and the roller spinny thing and all the other things that happen at casinos that I am too innocent to know about. So long story short, in 3-4 hours, I made 500 bucks in the rain from only a handful of people with umbrellas. Imagine if it hadn't rained that day, how good I would have done at that casino. Because the rain kept a lot of people from even coming out that day to the casino. So think of all the people who would have come to the casino, all the people that would have stopped to look at the cute little craft thing, and that 500 probably would have quadrupled, and in just a few hours. That might have been my best selling day ever. That might have beaten my Black Friday. But more questions. Did I miss any? Allison, yes, I answered earlier. I even drew a diagram just for you because I knew this question was coming. This is how people set up their tables. Pretend this is the tent. This is where people are walking by. This is the front. This is a bird's eye view. They set up 1, 2, 3 tables in a C shape, and everybody can come in. but people walking by, they can't see in there. It's all dark. It looks like a cave. So this is bad. So I X'd it out. You want to put all your tables across the front like this one, and squeeze in. Even if your neighbors aren't butted up against you, stick out until the show promoter tells you you're not allowed. Half the time they won't even care. Put all your tables in front, stand right here behind them. Now everybody passing by is right in your face. Your product is in their face. You can say, hey, how you doing? You can put on a show, wear a top hat, get a cane, play some music. You think I'm joking? Literally one time I was at a state fair and I was just feeling the music and I was like, you know what, let's just have some fun. And I had 2 apprentices and I grabbed both of them by the hand and I started dancing. And both of them were like, oh my gosh, mortified, but they wouldn't let go because I have a strong grip. And so they kind of sort of pretended to dance, but then were mostly just giggling and just like, oh my gosh, this guy's crazy. Why are we working with this guy? And I'm dancing. 10 seconds. It took 10 seconds. Somebody from another booth across the road turned around, thought that was super awesome, walked over, spent 20 or 25 bucks. 10 seconds for 25 bucks. Why? Because when you're a little bit crazier, you stand out from the crowd. And that's totally something I would do in every possible way. I was looking at the Facebook group. People are posting some of their displays where they set up at shows, which is awesome. One person had their entire display looking like a humongous steampunk theme. I don't mean steampunk theme like it said steampunk or their jewelry was steampunk, which would have been cool enough. I mean, they had cut out wooden gears 3 feet wide and spray painted metallic, and 2-foot gears and 1-foot gears. Like the whole entire booth looked like a big inside of a watch that was broken open from 100 feet away. I bet they killed it. I bet every single person on earth, I would have walked over. Everyone would have walked over. Doesn't matter what they were selling. They would have gotten 100 times more people than everyone else at that show to at least walk over. Be a little crazy. The crazier people stick out and they get more attention. It's like the squeaky wheel gets the oil. You're welcome. Oh, okay. Any other questions? Erin's pretty much answering all your questions, so you can just refer them to her because I'm just rambling about myself. So if you have a specific question, just ask her. She seems to be fielding them. But I am now open, so now you have 2 people you can ask if you have a question. My kiosk is in Pennsylvania in a mall. That's all you know for now. If you can find me, use your detective skills. If you send me a private message and you are in Central PA or Eastern PA, I might tell you exactly where it is if you want to come visit. But I'm not going to put it out there on the live feed because I want to be a little mysterious. Ooh, I asked another question. What was that question? No, I had just the right amount of coffee today. I had one 24-ounce and one, later on I had one 10-ounce. That's just about right. And I had them both late. If I had them earlier, I could have done 2 24 ounces, but I didn't want to do too much this late. So I'm probably still going to be up a little later than I need to, but that's okay. I have a lot of stuff to do. Any other questions? Am I missing questions? There might have been 10 questions I totally missed, and I apologize. Hopefully Erin got all of them. Someone says, wear a fancy dress. I want to be a pirate selling my treasure. Okay, here's a fun story. I was at the state fair in Pueblo, Colorado. It was the farthest west I ever sold. I should have went to California, much better probably, but Colorado is beautiful. But Pueblo is a desert. I didn't know this. I just thought, state fair, Colorado, let's go. So Pueblo is like 100 degrees and totally dry, which makes it nicer than humidity, but you have to drink a lot of water. You'll just dry up. And I just drink a lot of water. Anyway, that's not the story. The story is I'm at this show. I'm not doing that great, but I'm working really hard. So I'm at least making my money back and then a little bit more. Right when I'm starting to feel a little discouraged because this is overwhelming, I'm working so hard and all this stuff, I meet another vendor. Meeting vendors will be like your happiest moments if you do this full time. Meeting other vendors that are like similar to you, on point at a similar level or higher than you, but want to be your friend. So I meet this vendor. This woman was just going through the crowd. She was super extroverted and fun, and I can't remember if she was dressed like a mermaid. I think she was. Anyway, she showed me her booth. I left my apprentice to watch the booth. I walked over to see her booth. She had like 3 women hired by her, paid per hour, which means she was making a lot of money. And they're all dressed up as mermaids, like full bikini top, tail, dyed colored hair, shell, like fancy makeup, mermaids. And they were sitting out in the corners of her booth, flopping their tail and waving to everybody and being flirty. And people were coming in, women just as much as men, probably more women even. And she had this crazy thing. She had a hookup with some guy in Japan, or I think it was Japan, somewhere Southeast Asia. She had a hookup where this guy was in the pearl industry, and he would send her clams that had a perfect pearl in them. They were, made to have a perfect pearl. If you put a perfectly round grain of sand into a clam at a certain age, it'll slowly coat it with mother of pearl, and it'll, eventually be the size of the pearl that you want, and you can pop it open and take the pearl out. That's how pearls were discovered. And most pearls are not perfectly round because most grains of sand are not perfectly round, and it'll take the shape, obviously, of the grain of sand. That's why years ago, a perfectly round pearl was like worth more than gold. Now you can just commercially, people just pop in the perfect grains of sand into the clam and they know how to do the whole thing. Anyway, it's still a process, it's still not cheap. But she had a hookup where this guy would send her buckets of clams for like $1 a clam that all had a pearl in them. Okay. She swore that this was a really hard thing to get, that nobody could copy her, and I'm pretty sure I believe her. And to get this connection. So she had a bucket full of in water with sand. It smelled full of clams. I don't know if they're dead or alive. I don't know how it worked. But people would come in, see these beautiful mermaids, and she would say, "Would you like a beautiful pearl necklace taken right out of the ocean?" And people would be like, "Yes, would you like my money?" And she would say, "Sit down." And then she would open the bucket and say, "Pick your clam." All right, I think they were clams or oyster. I don't know. Whatever kind of shellfish they were. And the people would pick one as if it made a difference, but they felt a part of it. They'd pick one, and she would take it, and she'd take some metal tool, and she'd pop it open, and she'd say, "This is the pearl that came out of the one you picked." Wow. Like, how magical is that, right? But it gets better. She had these little silver pendants that she got in bulk, again, probably from China, probably for 50 cents each, because she probably bought them by the 1,000, and they were probably silver plated, not totally silver. I guarantee they weren't solid. They were silver plated, maybe not even silver plated, maybe just silver colored, but they were pretty and shiny. And they were like a little cage, and they had a little hinge, and they opened up, and she would open them up and take their pearl and wash it and clean it and spray something on it to make it shiny, and then rub it and say, "Look at your beautiful pearl. I'm putting it in this silver cage," closing it up, and the silver cage was on a silver chain. And this is yours if you would like for just 20 bucks. Oh my gosh, she probably could have gotten 40 or 50 with that whole thing. But for 20, I don't think she could possibly get a no the whole day. It's possible, but I guarantee she was getting 20 bucks hand over fist. She had a line of people, I'm pretty sure, at certain times waiting to give her 20 bucks, 20 bucks, 20 bucks, 20 bucks. If you can make 20 bucks every 5 minutes, what does that add up to? 12 times 20, 240 bucks an hour. You could totally pay those mermaids 15 bucks an hour each to do their most aggressive tail flopping and blinking and waving and smiling. It's 15 bucks times 3 mermaids. That's 45 bucks an hour. Her booth fee, probably, if you broke it down per hour, her booth fee was probably like $5 an hour, something like that. And then all those dollar for each one she sold. So long story short, she was making 150 bucks an hour net, hour after hour after hour after hour. 12-hour days, 10-day show. Oh, thanks for stopping by, Erin. I was only going to go 1 hour this time. I'm at an hour and 11 minutes. So I will say, let's do another 19 minutes and we'll cut it off at an hour and a half. So you guys have about 18 minutes and 15 seconds to ask me as many questions as you want. Although now that Erin is leaving, I'm sure you won't have any other questions. But I'm still happy to just smile for the next 18 minutes. Now, the story about the mermaid, it is genius. I agree with you. But the crazy thing is, it's not the only story out there like that. There's hundreds of stories like that. I have a friend who, she probably won't want me to put this out there, so I'll just kind of hint around it without giving the details. She spent years trying to figure out how to make jewelry out of an everyday product that all of us have. First, it had to be dried a certain way, then it had to be coated with a certain kind of resin, then it had to be preserved a certain way. And you might guess what it is. I don't care if you guess, but basically, once she got her product good, it was gorgeous, it was beautiful, and it blew everybody's mind to see it. And then she just turned her one room in her apartment into a laboratory. She had to get industrial gloves and a mask and everything because she was dealing with all this epoxy hours every day. And she was selling earrings and pendants for 28 bucks a pop. And she'd be next to me. I'd be doing all my handmade, super intricate, hard work, hours. We did the same show. I'd make 250 bucks. She'd make 1,000. I'd make 200 bucks. She'd make 1,300. I'd make 180 bucks. She'd make 1,400. I got lucky one day. I made 325 bucks. She made 1,500. This happened like crazy. I was super, I felt super stupid and intrigued. And she became one of my mentors. And she's not the cut one. She's a different one. But she, I learned a lot from her. And I had to learn, there's all these products out there that you can find where you can be the cutting edge, but you don't have to have this amazing hookup with Japan or spend years coming up with one product with resin that nobody else figured out how to do to be like the breakout winner of any show. I won best show at one state fair just because I had what people called the happiest booth. I got a playlist of music. Nobody else was playing music from their little booth. I got these speakers from Walmart, and I got I actually brought my laptop because I was dumb. I didn't know how to hook it up to a simple little tiny device like an iPod or a phone. I had my laptop sitting behind a table, like super not safe, but outside. But anyway, I had a playlist and I picked music that everybody loves. I picked like 70s, like cool, like Eagles, Simon and Garfunkel. I picked some new stuff, but like funky, unusual stuff that I thought everybody would like. Nothing that was super abrasive. Just fun music from several different eras. You know, everything from the 60s to the 2000s. And I had about 25 songs and I played them. And and then I just had a super friendly everything. I just set up my booth to be super friendly and I won best booth at that show. And that was the most successful booth I had pretty much in ratio to how much I spent, how much I got back. Just a great time. But my product wasn't anything that you guys aren't doing yourselves, that you don't see in my videos, that a lot of you have been doing for years before you ever saw me. It's just wire wrap jewelry, a little bit of leather, a little bit of wood, you know, a little bit of like simple stuff. Not, I don't even, I've never gotten into wire weaving. I'm not one of those people who spends 3 hours making the most gorgeous thing and then trying to sell it for $250. I don't know where to find the people with $250 to throw around all the time. So I make my price point $2 to about 45. And then I have a few pieces that are like 50, 60, 70, but they're just for show, just to attract people because they'll sell once every 3 months. And it's simple stuff. It's simple stuff, but I find good locations. I talk to people and I have a lot of fun. I just try to have as much fun as possible. The more fun you're having, the more you're just going to attract people. Okay, I'm sorry. I should have been fielding questions and I'm just rambling still. Let's see. We still have 13 minutes left. All right. Sterling silver. I don't do it. Everybody gets offended when I say that. Sterling silver. I say I have silver plated. People don't like that. I don't do sterling silver because people don't want to pay more for it. They don't even want to pay $1 more. There are places where people do want to pay for it, but the majority of people don't care. If it looks pretty on the outside, they'll buy it. I prefer natural stones to dyed stones, but people buy the dyed stones more because it looks pretty on the outside, even after I tell them they're dyed, and this one is natural. People like how stuff looks, and silver plated with the new coating, the non-tarnished coating, holds up better than sterling because it doesn't need to be polished. As long as you don't scratch it or put it in some abrasive chemical like chlorine. I don't know if it holds up in chlorine or in the ocean with the salt, but as long as it just gets a little bit of rainwater or dishwashing soap, you know, it doesn't get anything abrasive. That stuff stays shiny for 10 years. You never need to polish it. So if you love sterling, I'm not trying to offend you. I'm just telling you my thing. All right, sorry. Rotating earrings display case. Sure. I have 2 videos called Portable Display Case. Watch those 2 videos. The second one with the pink one is better than the one with the tan colored brown one. The tan colored brown one's good, but the camera cut out and I didn't realize it, and there's a whole section of it missing, and I couldn't go back and change it once it was uploaded, and a bunch of people had already watched it. So I just made a whole new video, and so the pink one is more complete. Take that concept, the 2 canvases. One is a frame because I ripped the canvas off, and the other one is the full canvas, but spray painted or painted pretty. Okay. Take that. Now make 4 sets of those. Put them in a cube. Drill them with little screws to hold them together. That's how I made my thing. Then I went online and I bought like a Lazy Susan, or it has a special name, but I bought this little rotating circle that's made, and I had to find the one that's made to hold a certain amount of weight because I bought a really cheap one and it broke. So I had to spend about $15 to buy this one that holds a certain amount of weight, and then I just put another piece of wood underneath it, mounted the whole thing. I don't know if I used glue or screws, depending whatever worked better. And there you have it. Zoom. So I'll draw it real quick just so you can see what I mean. I had this is a canvas frame. I ripped the canvas off, okay? This is another canvas the same size behind it, but this one, I didn't rip the canvas off. So the canvas is intact, but this frame is on top of it. Now this one gets painted, so it looks pretty, okay? I make 4 of these, and I put them together in a cube like this. And I staggered them that way too. And I put them together. I put little screws to hold them together, right? Then I bought, I wish I could remember the name off the top of my head, but I bought this little thing that just spins around like a record tabletop. It's basically called a Lazy Susan if you buy it to put it on your table to hold like vitamins or whatever, but it's just a rotating thing. And if you remember the name of it, please put it in the comments. But I bought this, it was about 15 bucks because I had to buy one that was made to hold at least 50 pounds because I bought a cheaper one that was only made to hold 10 pounds and that thing broke right away. So if you could find it to hold 100 pounds, that's better. But anyway, the stronger the better, but don't spend too much money. And then I just mounted this under there. And now I have my earrings display that spins, and it works so well. People love spinning it. If I could do another booth and just make 10 of those going all the way around the booth, that would be fun right there. All right, what else? Quartzsite, Arizona. I've never been to Arizona at all. I should go because I hear it's beautiful. No, I don't sell earrings for $2. When I said $2, the only thing I'll sell for $2 is a single semi-precious stone. And a semi-precious stone that I bought a whole bunch of them for 50 cents to $1. And that's not a good price point because I prefer to have all my materials cost 5% to 10% of what the price is. So if I tell you a necklace is $25, most likely I spent no more than $2 for the materials to make it. Because if I can keep my material cost that low, then I have that wide price range to play with. Like I can let this $25 necklace go for all the way down to 15 and still feel awesome about the sale. And that gives me a lot of leverage in talking to people. Yes, Parawire so far is still the best. I don't tell people certain things about me. I don't tell them my certain statuses about myself. You can just imagine whatever you want to imagine. If you want to imagine I'm single or not single, or I'm 7'2" and I weigh 257 pounds of solid muscle, it's pretty much accurate. So you can just imagine that, but I'm not going to say for sure. Sir Charles, yay. Yeah, when you do swirls, you're going to scratch it. It's just going to happen. That's just how swirls are. The way you're taught to do swirls in most wire wrapping is you take the wire and you pinch it like this, then you turn the pliers sideways and you grab it and you roll it in little tiny rolls. And it's so hard to get a good grip that you're going to slide. And as you're sliding, you're scratching the wire. It's going to happen. So the answer is grip it as hard as you possibly can and try to get an angle where it doesn't slide at all, where you just, and then just give it just enough till you feel like you don't have any good leverage, then reposition and do more. Sometimes I'll grip it so hard I actually start flattening the wire, copper wire, by how hard I grip it. That's okay, because it still looks good. The other option is to get some kind of coating. You can get this liquid stuff you put on your pliers. I never used it, but people told me about it. And that will give it like a rubber coating. You could take tape, like painter's tape or masking tape, wrap it around your pliers. That'll give them a softer grip. So try that. I haven't tried it. I just muscle it in and go for the angle. And if I really scratch up the coil bad, I cut it off and I go with a smaller coil. I've done it many, many, many times, and then I just learn as I do it more and more. I learn not to scratch it, but it's going to happen a lot in the beginning. Abalone is deadly. I'm going to have to think about who I sell abalone to. I'm going to have to get a feel for whether I like that person or not. Because if I don't get a good vibe that they're a nice person, maybe I should sell them the abalone. And then maybe if they're really nice and they're kind to me and they buy me things, maybe I should steer those people away from abalone so that it doesn't hurt them. I'm assuming whoever said abalone is deadly means as far as if you ingest it or something along those lines, not if you're just using it in jewelry. Or maybe if you're working, if you're in the place where they refine it and cut it and do stuff with it, maybe the dust is really bad to breathe or something, and you need, there you go, you need a mask. Like certain materials are just horrible to breathe. I used to work in a pottery studio. You wouldn't believe there's little tiny powders that are used to make glazes. Some of those powders are like tiny amounts breathed in. Ooh, bad, poisoning. Huge event in January. I'm gonna take some time off in January, I think. Not from you guys. I'll still try to show up every day, but I'll take some time off from selling, I think. Can't get a good grip with nylon jawed pliers. Yeah, I think I tried them once and I had that experience, so I just gave up. But I haven't tried wrapping them in tape. That sounds like it could be possible. Red liquid rubber stuff for cars. What? Interesting. We have 3 minutes left. Throw out any more questions. Questions are, you believe the stars, da 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 da. I don't even know what song that melody is from. Oh, that's Mona Lisa still. Do you try to tempt a lover, Mona Lisa? Or is this your way to hide a broken heart? I'm all over the place. I don't even know what key I'm in. Are you warm? Are you real, Mona Lisa? Who sings that? It's one of those great singers. I know it's one of the top three I'm thinking of. It's not, I don't think it's the most famous. Can't think of any names now. Reading the comments. Happy Thanksgiving. Chances are, yeah, that's the song I was singing, Chances Are. And then I went to Mona Lisa. Happy Thanksgiving, wonderful Black Friday. You too. Nat King Cole. Oh my gosh, that is Nat King Cole. I love Nat King Cole. He's such a humble guy too. He's literally a professional piano player who kept saying, no, I'm not a singer. I'm not a singer. I'm not a singer. People kept saying, come on, sing, sing, sing. And then when that voice came out, people were like, are you crazy? You are the best singer. Yay. Oh, I wish I could do this another hour and a half. I'm tempted to say, let's keep going. Let's keep going. Let's push another 5 minutes. We'll be bad. will be bad. Everybody gets to stay up later. Pillow fight. Kids, dad's bending the rules. We'll stay up 5 more minutes. I wasn't prepared to log off just yet, and then there's only 10 seconds left. 5 minutes. Okay. Dad, please, can we have 5 more minutes? Okay, but make sure you go in bed after that, because otherwise mommy's gonna be mad. Thanks, Dad. You're the best. I know. Don't tell mom I said that. So who sings Mona Lisa? Nat King Cole sings Chances Are, right? Does he sing both of those? Maybe he sings both. I was thinking, how many people live in your head? Too many. Do I have kids? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. Maybe someday I will tell you. My best-selling item. I don't have a best-selling item. It's location. It's all location. Although recently this year, rings have been selling like crazy. Even rings are my best-selling videos. My top like 3 best-selling videos are all rings. So jump on the ring thing, guys. People are loving some rings. Apparently. Blue eyes and a wiggly voice. I don't know. Okay. Yes. Earrings was my top seller 8 years ago. Now it's rings. Quartzsite, Arizona. Oh my gosh, if you keep bothering me, I might have to go. Sounds fun. Not art galleries, really. I did it. I kept pushing this one place I was working at to try to do an art show, and I tried to put my paintings in there, and they kept resisting because they were goofy boo boo heads. But I did run a holiday craft sale that was kind of in an art gallery type exhibit for a bunch of artists 2 years in a row, and we had record high sales when I ran it. It was awesome. It was super fun. And I put in both jewelry and pottery, which gave me an edge. It allowed me to be like, I think I was the 3rd best seller the first year and the 1st best seller the 2nd year. But I also was running the show, so I had a little bit of an advantage. $5 turtle necklaces. Yeah, $5 all day. If you can sell stuff for $5, the trick about $5 is it seems too cheap to some people, but for most people it's just impulse. Boom, $5 all day. Don't want to go below $5 for an entire piece of jewelry. People just, I don't care how easy it was or how cheap the materials. Don't go below $5 for a piece of jewelry. You can go below $5 for a single stone, but not for a whole pendant or a whole ring or a whole, it's better to just give something away free if you're going to go that low. Offer something for $20 and give them that $5 item for free. Like if you're pricing stuff for $3, people are going to think you're not real. That you're like a flea market. That's my opinion. I could be wrong. Yeah, Frank Sinatra. That's what I was trying to. He's the most popular. I don't think he sings either one of those. Maybe I'm wrong. Yeah, actually, Allison, when I was 5 years ago, when I wasn't totally, when I was still coming out of my starving artist phase, I used to sell. Oh my goodness, Aaron is back. Did you put the babies to bed? I used to sell polymer clay earrings. I would just smush up some crazy colors, make them into discs, and then make them wavy. I would pinch them so they were like these wavy discs. They look like little sea urchin creatures, but they were like crazy colors. And then I'd punch a hole in them, or I'd make a hole with a toothpick while they're still soft. And then I'd put earring hooks on them. That was it. And I made hundreds of them, and I would sell them for $5 a pop. And I made $500, which means I sold 100 of them at several shows. So that's pretty good. 100 sales in one day. And, so yeah, $5 price points can be great if you're selling them like hotcakes. I mean, McDonald's makes billions selling stuff off the dollar menu. Why can't you? Why can't you? Why can't you sell $5 items? You just have to find the way to meet your market. You can try until you discover the right formula. And then you will be like Melissa Gregory and Allison Twist. Yeah, McDonald's actually does sell hotcakes. Well, I guess they just do everything then. McDonald's sells hotcakes like hotcakes. They actually don't sell hotcakes like hotcakes. They sell dollar cheeseburgers like hotcakes because their hotcakes don't sell very often. I know this because I both have worked there and am a very often patron of theirs. My price range is 5 to 45. My real serious price range for selling is 5 to 20. 5 to 20, 5 to 20, 5 to 20 all day long. During the holidays, I go up to 45 to 65 because not on every, I still have my 5 to 20, but I have a lot more items selling 45 to 65 because people really spend money around the holidays. But the rest of the time, 5 to 20, 25 once in a while. But I price it higher. I price it at 35, price it at 25, but then I'm negotiating, making deals, going down to 20. Australian McDonald's has better food than the US. Okay, forget it. We're past 5 minutes. We're breaking the rules. Mom is not going to know. We're just going to stay up late, guys. We're staying up late. I feel good. I feel better than last time. Let's just stay up late. Okay, so here's the thing. Yes, McDonald's in other countries adapts their menu for the country, and it costs like 3, 4, 5 times more. McDonald's in other countries is considered like a treat. Like we go to McDonald's, like in America, it would be like going to a nicer restaurant, like not a super high restaurant, but like a higher end restaurant. And in America, McDonald's is food for people who want something fast, who don't have a lot of money. And that's why they have a huge dollar menu. So, yes. You're the best daddy ever. Aw, thanks, kids. Nat King Cole did Mona Lisa. Ugh. It's so good. I wish I had a piano so I could play it. Whatever that chord is, it's not in the regular key of the rest of the song. It's a minor or it's a major that is not in the regular key, and that's why it sounds a little different. I'm gonna lose the melody right there. I think I stayed on. Mona Lisa, Mona Lisa. You hear that? That's the. I don't know if you can hear it. It's the drum behind me is resonating at that note. It was going. It was the snare drum. The little snare parts were going. Maybe only I could hear it. Yeah, it's making it buzz. The breaking of the glass. Maybe I should not answer questions about jewelry and just take singing requests. Yeah, that's got to be falsetto. Whole meals for 60 cents. Wow. That's awesome. I think you guys know everything you need to know because I nobody is asking any more questions. So I am not complaining, but I'm just guessing that everything ever wanted to be learned is now known. So we are good. What gemstones? That bad gemstones sell best. Amethyst and rose quartz and moonstone for women. For men, tiger's eye all day, and then lava stone. You have to have insurance at some shows. At a mall, you have to have insurance, but it's super cheap. Considering you're at the mall every single day, like generally, I can tell you the insurance company to go to. It's a go-to for all vendors. But generally, for the mall, it's 300 a year, which is like $1 a day, so that's nothing. And if you do it for just a month, it's about 90. So then it's like $3 a day. But if you pay for the whole year, it's really cheap. And then certain shows you go to, certain shows will have their own insurance set up, like large state fairs usually, like not little weekend shows. Large state fairs will say like you have to have insurance, either provide your own insurance, like you can have, if you're pro, you can have insurance that covers everything and just tell them the name of your insurance. But if you don't, you say they'll put you on their insurance just for the show for like another $20. So that's usually not a big deal. I use Arizona insurance, and when I say 300, I think it's more like 3 something, but that's what I paid last year. And that's just covering a mall, what's called an RMU. I forget what that stands for, but that's the official word for the very smallest kiosk they have that goes in the middle of the floor that is actually on wheels. It's literally a beautiful setup that's underneath. It's actually just a cart, and they roll it into place and then plug it in so it has electricity, and then you build your display on top of it. Yeah, Sophie's cool. Oh, I haven't seen the cats in like 2 weeks, and Sophie's like, "Hi, feed me." And Domino's like, "I missed you so much. Do you still love me?" And I was like, "Domino, of course I love you. Come here." And I was petting him, and he's like, "Oh yes, this is the good stuff." I was petting him, and then his fur was coming up. I was like, "Oh gosh, you're shedding." So I got the brush, and I was brushing him, and he was like, "Oh." And then he just needed a whole thing, and then after about half an hour, he was just super happy cat, and he was purring, and he said, "Let me kiss you," and he was licking my hand because he was so thankful. Oh yeah, get if you're gonna do a mall, don't do it by yourself. Go in with some people because it's a pain in the butt. It's a lot of hours. You'll burn yourself out trying to do it alone. Um, and don't sign up for a whole year at first. Try it for a month, see how it goes, and then decide what you want to do. And here's a tip: there is no set price. So when they tell you it's this much, be like, "How about this much?" and negotiate them down. Negotiate them to an embarrassing low level, and then they'll have to come up somewhere in the middle. And don't be afraid of them looking at you like you're crazy. They're not going to turn you away. They're not going to be like, "Huh, you're stupid. You don't even know what we do here," and hang up on you. No, they're going to talk to you as long as you'll talk, because they want people in there, because malls are having trouble filling up their spots. So awkward, crazy customers. No, I don't. I was talking to a vendor the other day. This woman I just met who does shows, and she's super awesome, and I think she's going to help me get into some shows. Um, she has talked about customers actually screaming in her face, and her mother also. And I was like, "Are you serious? I've never had that happen. Like, that would lose my mind." And she said, "Yeah, you look like if someone screamed in your face that you would scream back in their face, and that's probably why they never try it." And I was like, "Okay, but um, yeah, if somebody starts screaming in my face, like I would take a deep breath and start calculating how to make them wish they never entered that mall that day. And as soon as I came up with the right thing to say or do, then I would execute, and I would make sure I made sure they wished they never came in the mall that day. Most people. But no, I never had a customer scream. The worst customers I had were people who linger, who consider you a captive audience and just talk because they're lonely and bored and nobody else will talk to them because they are they have the kind of personality where they take advantage of people. They don't know how to give and take in the conversation, and they just want to talk. And they're usually the type of people, they don't look to other people for cues on whether the conversation's going well. They just want to be heard. And it's sad, but don't give in to them, because they will sit there and try to talk your ear off for 20 minutes or half hour. And unfortunately, I say don't give in to them. I'm too patient with them and I let them talk for way too long. And then I start ignoring them and doing my own thing, trying to give them a hint, and they don't take the hint. Those are the worst, absolute worst. Now, if it's busy, I can just say, excuse me, I have stuff to do. But when they come around and it's totally dead and they're just talking, and then you say, I just need to get back to this or something, they'll say, oh, no problem, no problem. And then they might like step back and then come back and keep talking. Like there's some really, really, really like sticky ones. That's the worst. That's horrible. Emotional parasites, absolutely. And you want to feel bad for them, but I'm pretty sure you should not feel bad for them. I'm pretty sure that that's an act that they kind of know what they're doing. But yeah, I had a customer yell at another customer. I had a customer yell at another customer. I had a customer yell at the vendor next to me at one show. This guy was super angry about some stupid product that he thought the guy ripped him off or something. And the guy was trying to talk to him calmly, and he just kept yelling and getting threatening. This is man to man. And I sat there listening for 10, 20, 30 seconds, and I pretty much figured out, I don't know if the guy ripped him off. I don't know what the thing was with the product. But I do know that this customer was being super abusive in his language to the vendor guy. And I do know that he was threatening. He was starting to get threatening. And the vendor guy was not putting up anything in return that he should be treated that way. He was trying to de-escalate, and the customer's trying to escalate. And so I hate bullies. I'm better at sticking up for bullies than I'm better at sticking up for victims of bullies than I am at sticking up for myself. So, I lost my temper. I didn't really lose my temper, but I got to the point where I couldn't take it anymore. And the customer yelling was right here. And the customer, I think he was scared, was right here trying to calm him down. And the customer yelling was getting more and more in his face. And I squeezed right in between them and put my face right up in the hostile person's face. So he had to step back or we would end up bumping heads. And I waited to see what he would do to me, because I didn't say a word. I just got up in his face like, now I'm in your face. That other guy, whatever you thought he was going to do, now it's me. What are you going to do? And he immediately took that as an aggressive, and he backed up a few steps and he said, I see you got your paid security here, so I guess I'm going to let you do your thing. Or he made up some excuse and then he took off. And so he assumed that I was friends with the other vendor. I'd never spoken to the other vendor. I don't even think I said hi to him. I might have said hi when I was setting up. I don't think he was friendly. So then I turned around to the vendor who I had just saved from this abusive guy. And I said, don't worry about him. 'Cause I didn't want him to feel embarrassed or whatever. I said, or whatever, feel intimidated. I turned, I said, don't worry about that guy. And literally this vendor just turned around and ignored me, because I think he was I don't know. You guys tell me what you interpret that. I was like, because then I was pissed. I was like, you're a jerk. I don't know if you ripped this guy off or not, but like, I just drove away this person screaming in your face, and you're not even gonna look me in the eye and say thanks or even say hi. Like, so, no, it wasn't awful. It was fun. It was, I loved watching that guy run away. That was like the most fun thing ever. Because if he had started fighting, I'm not sure what. Oh, oops, I almost disconnected. Um, yeah, my thing is, if you act a certain way, people usually believe it for the first few seconds. So that helps in selling. If you act confident, people will believe you're confident long enough for you to continue making the sale. But yeah, I don't. But so I got up in his face having absolutely no clue what I was going to do next. I just wanted him to know that he had to deal with both of us now, not just one. And but I think he was pretty sure that where he comes from, nobody gets up in somebody's face like that unless they're ready to do something. Yeah, I think the guy was embarrassed. I kind of felt bad for him, but then I was just like, I don't care how embarrassed you are. Like, you at least pick your head up and sit, talk to me. Like, I'm talking to you like a human being. Like, obviously, I'm on your side. I just helped you. Did you not see what just happened? The changes coming to YouTube. I need to look up. I need to read up on them more. I need to check some things. Everybody's arguing about what they are, and there's lawyers or people who claim they're lawyers or people who claim they know lawyers literally making hundreds of videos about this stuff, and I don't want to comment on it. In fact, I think my gut tells me most of the fear for a lot of people is like off the charts because people panic whenever something big changes, but I don't know all the details. And if once I know something, if I have any reason to tell you guys, I'll let you know. But uh yeah, I don't know. I really don't know. I'm looking into it right now, and uh yeah. Oh my gosh, we're almost up to 2 hours. Let's do 3 hours. 3 hours. No, I'm just kidding. We're gonna cut it off at 2 hours for sure. Yeah, someone just asked about changes coming to YouTube. Supposedly there's changes coming, not supposedly, there are changes announced. They've been announcing it to every YouTuber. As you put up a video, they announce it to you. They are coming in January of this year, this coming year. And it's probably going to affect a lot of channels. I don't think it will be, I don't think it will reach this place that I'm doing stuff, but I still have to look into it. I don't know. I don't want to comment on it until I know more. Shoplifters, not that I know of, although I am so ADD and I have so many products coming out so fast that if I could have been stolen from and never known it, which is ignorance is bliss. I have had employees steal from me many times. Horrible. Like apprentices, unpaid apprentices, paid apprentices. And I don't mean steal product, I mean steal money and product. But and not enough that it hurt me. It was never enough that like it hurt, like it damaged my ability to do business or it set me back. But every single time it was like it was a personal like holy crap, like it lowered my opinion of humanity, that like because the ones who would do it were and I'm talking about like I'm not talking about like they would pack up a ton of stuff and run away. I'm talking about the whole time they were working for me, they were pocketing $5 here, $10 here, like $5 a day, $10 a day. So like little tiny amounts skimming. And Two of them got caught because the third one ratted them out. And I checked the records and found out everything the third person said lined up with exactly what they said. Um, and Another time, I had someone with me. She started being dishonest in tiny ways, but I was stuck on the road with her. I couldn't even afford to send her home, and she was really a hard worker in every other way. So the more I caught her being dishonest, the more I took it out of her pay. And but I'd take it out of her pay and then some because it was irritating, and I wasn't sure if there was more I was missing. And then eventually, then like I was much better at math, so I started taking for every time I caught her stealing $10, I'd take $40 out of her pay, and she didn't even realize I was taking it out of her pay because she was so bad at calculating stuff. And then it got to the point where I just I got so angry because I gave her so many chances and had so many talks with her about like doing the right thing, and she would burst into tears and swear it wasn't true. And eventually I tricked her because she was not good at math and good at other she was a hard worker. She was a really hard worker and made really good pieces. And eventually I tricked her into making me hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of pieces for free because that was my way of getting peace from it all. I think looking back, she would have preferred that I did that rather than just kick her out because she kind of was one of these people who didn't have anywhere to go. It was like that's part of the reason I've had a lot of people steal. Is I picked up people who didn't have anything going on in their life, which means they were like the type of people who gravitate to drugs and to, you know, not playing by the rules. And yeah, so I think she would have been happier if I just kept her with me, even if I paid her nothing, even if I just kept her fed and kept her on the road with me. So I tricked her into making like hundreds of pieces of me, didn't pay her, and then eventually it got to the point where I just couldn't trust her at all. It was like I didn't even feel safe being on the road with her. Like I didn't like how far is she going to take it? What's going to happen next? Like so once I just didn't feel safe being around her, then I had to drop her off back where she came from, and you know that was it. But in the long run, I think I got way more than my money back. Um, and then there were some other people who stole, and it was just a small amount. It really bothered me because I was really good friends with two of these people. Like I was so good to them. I gave them rides. I gave them advice about their girlfriends. I we would talk for hours when we were on the road. Like we would talk about everything under the sun. Like they were straight up like we were cool, you know? Like they were like my little brothers. And then I've come to find out they're like I don't want to say the word. It's explicit, but that was my opinion of them after that. I was like, "Oh, man." Like um but yeah, no, I don't hold grudges. No way. No, never. You hold a grudge, you're burning down your own house. Generally hate anger. I mean, sometimes anger can help, but most of the time anger and definitely grudges and just hatred in general, you're just burning down your own house. You're not doing any good for yourself. The best way to forgive is to look, in my opinion, is um to look at everybody as incredibly flawed, including yourself, and realize that we're all messing up. And as much as that person might mess up by hurting you, you've probably messed up by hurting other people without even knowing it. And even if you haven't, maybe that person was given less in life, maybe you were given more. And even if that's not the case, nobody really knows. Nobody knows what they're suffering with and what you're not. They have to be held accountable, but you don't hold it against them. At the end of the day, you don't know if they're actually done more good in the world than you have. Nobody really knows like how it's you just do your very best. All you can know is what you're doing, and if you're improving yourself daily, it's all you can do. I'm going to go a little bit over because I don't want to end right this second, but we're at 2 hours, so I'm closing. Um, You guys, I was worried I wouldn't have enough to talk about, but I think I was just tired last time and I needed coffee because this time I could go another 2 hours easily. So you guys are awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you for hanging out. If I didn't get to your question, sorry. I really didn't look at the comments as much this time. I'm looking at a lot of them now. I'm scrolling down and I glanced at them here and there, but I mostly have just been talking. So put comments. You can, even though you're putting your comments up on the screen, after this processes for about 10 or 20 minutes, it'll come back up on my channel and you can watch it again. You can put new comments under that and I will see them. They will come up on my app as new comments. So if you have any questions that I didn't answer, ask them again. And if you have any new questions, ask them again and I will see them and I will do my best to answer all of them. And you can put questions on any video. I don't care if it's a video from a year ago. If you put a question on it, sometimes they don't show me every question. It's weird. I don't know how that algorithm works, but almost all the time I see every new question that pops up. I often won't, they won't show me replies to other people's comments. So if you're in a conversation with a bunch of replies underneath a comment, I don't see any of those unless I go out of my way to look for them. But new comments show up daily and I usually see all of them. So, how much do I pay for my booth in the mall? It's different. I'm a really good negotiator after doing it this long. So I pay way less than all the people around me. And malls are dying. Brick and mortar is dying. The internet's taking over everything. So prices are going down, down, down. The malls are having trouble filling up their spots and they will take a really low deal if you know how to negotiate. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you guys. You guys are super awesome. Go on the Facebook page if you're not on there yet. There's 2 Facebook pages. One is just where I put all the YouTube videos that I can. The other one, that's a Facebook. Yeah, that's Facebook. The other one's a Facebook group. So they both have the same name. So you have to type in Matt's Crazy Art Group. And then you have to make sure it's the photo with the guitar. It's an abstract painting of a guitar. If you find that photo, that's the group. Join the group. Just hit join. You should be accepted automatically. If you're not, I'll see it within 24 hours and I'll put to accept you unless you're some kind of criminal. And I found out. Probably not. And join that group and you can have these discussions like you're having right now with everybody, like all day long, day and night, because everybody's having discussions on there. There's almost 1,000 people on there now and they're super nice to each other and it's very awesome. Yay. I'm actually feeling a tiny bit tired. I think it's time to go. Any final thoughts? What do you mean by clean? I like this key better. I'm holding the notes better. Good night. Happy Thanksgiving. Happy Black Friday to everybody. Yeah, never worry about why you attract a certain kind of people. You just do. If you can change that part of yourself, change it. That's pretty much it. If you attract bullies, be tougher. Or if you're already tough, then attract them. Let them come to you. Let them come close, and then boom, knock them out. Bite their heads off. And then they'll think twice about messing with somebody after that. But if you attract energy vampires, you need to learn to fight. You need to learn to put up some tough boundaries. You know, I don't know. If you attract whatever you attract, learn to adjust. But if it's, I don't judge yourself. Don't be like, there's something terribly wrong with me. No, there's something imperfect about all of us, and then we're all getting better. We're all trying to get better, and that's all we can do, and that's all we are supposed to do. Happy Thanksgiving again. Happy Black Friday. Yeah, type in Matt's Crazy Art group. Make sure you put group, or you might get the page. The page is good too. You can click like on the page, but the page just shows you more videos. The group is where everybody's having discussions, and you can post pictures of your own art. Please do. All right, good night. Oh, I'm gonna miss you guys. I'll see you in the upcoming videos this week, hopefully. Next week, Tuesday, same time, 9 o'clock. I wish I could do another time for all the countries around the world that are sleeping right now, but I'm going to stick to 9 so that people can put it on their calendars and get used to it. And it's a good time for me. And that way I can stick to it. And I hope we can have fun. And if I see the same people every week, that'll be like super awesome, and new people too. Good night. Good night. See you next week. Most likely 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. How do I turn this thing off? I forgot. Oops, what did that do? What? How can I not remember how to turn this off? Oh, there we go.